Hey guys, I'm coming to you today from Las Vegas, Nevada. You can see I'm in my hotel room right now. I'm here at CES, and we're going to talk about the Chevy Silverado EV truck and what we can expect from the announcement that we're going to get tomorrow. Now, unfortunately, GM is actually not going to be here in person, and neither is BMW, neither is Microsoft, neither are a bunch of big tech manufacturers and auto manufacturers. A lot of them have pulled out, but I'm still going to be here, and I'm going to be here with the other journalists, and the truck is going to be here, but the keynote address is going to be delivered virtually. So that's what we have right now. It's a kind of an interesting situation. There definitely are a lot of journalists here, but this is a much reduced presence at CES compared to previous years, as I understand it. So obviously the Silverado Electric is going to be competing directly with Ford with the F-150 Lightning. I did a video on that recently. I got to sit in it, didn't get to drive it, but it's very fast, it's very impressive. And so Ford is taking a slightly different approach. Now the Silverado EV is also going to be body on frame, but it's going to be a little bit different. Ford took the approach where they took the existing F-150, the frame, and they reinforced it, specifically the lower part, to accommodate the batteries. Still basically in the top part, the part that you sit in the cab is still very, very much an F-150. It's very, very familiar. Now, we haven't seen the inside of the Silverado yet, but they are doing a body on frame. Even though it sort of has a unibody type look, the bed and the cab are probably going to be sort of melded together. So we know that Ford took one approach, but actually General Motors is taking a little bit of a different approach. They are using the Ultium platform, which is a brand new platform that they're going to be using for this EV and a number of upcoming EVs. So the unveiling is going to be tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific. And so here's what we know, what General Motors has already told us. It's going to have a fixed glass roof. So we're kind of thinking along the lines of a lot of EVs have fixed glass roofs now, but that's kind of interesting for a pickup truck. I'm thinking specifically of Tesla products and the Mustang Mach-E. And as opposed to the Hummer, the Silverado is going to be more aimed at work. The Hummer is a pretty expensive vehicle where it's easy to get one up over $100,000. It's a little bit more for play. The Silverado is going to be positioned a little bit more like the F-150. It's going to be a work truck, and it's going to be interesting to see if Chevy has any tricks up their sleeve. Now, we know with the F-150 they have the whole reverse charging thing where you can hook it up to your house and power your house for a couple days. That's a pretty cool little surprise. We also have Pro Power even on the regular F-150 as an option on the gas trucks. So it's going to be interesting to see what Chevy is going to come up with, if there's any surprises. And unlike the Hummer, I think we're going to see something a little bit more traditional looking than what we get with the Hummer, which is this real chunky, kind of real aggressive thing. I think the Silverado is going to be appealing to a broader market, a little bit less of the enthusiast market, a little bit more of the contractor market. Again, at least that's, I think, how it's going to be positioned. Interestingly enough, with the Ford F-150 Lightning, they've been positioning it heavily towards contractors too, but they're seeing that the initial people who are doing the pre-orders are actually enthusiasts, EV enthusiasts, and a little bit more of the general public as opposed to contractors. We're going to have to see a little ways down the line what Chevy is going to do with the Silverado. We don't know if there's going to be different bed lengths. The F-150, and I keep referring to that because that's the one that's out, only has one bed length, which is the short bed. We don't know if a Silverado is going to have multiple bed lengths. And what's also interesting is the rear window. Is it going to sort of go fold right down and not fold? Is it going to slide into the bottom of the window frame, into the back behind the seat? Or is it going to slide open? It's probably going to be electric. We don't know what that's going to look like yet either. I think we're going to expect a multi-flex tailgate as well as the side step on the side so you can get into the bed a little bit more easily. And most of my information is coming from GM Authority, by the way. That's definitely a good site to check out. And they're saying that to expect very, very large wheels and tires, and also large fender openings too. As for the suspension, it looks like they're going to follow in the lead of the F-150 Lightning with independent suspension all the way around with coil springs all the way around. Tires are expected to be as big as 24 inches. It's going to have some sort of sprint mode. It has four-wheel steering too, so some sort of crawling, some crabbing, sideways walking too. Maybe that is their trick that they're going to get reveal. Not sure, just speculating on that. And I mentioned before the Ultium platform. It's also referred to as the BT1 platform. So it's going to underpin upcoming vehicles from Chevy, Cadillac, and the GMC Hummer. And this is a variation of the GM T1 architecture, which underpins the Silverado, the Sierra, the Tahoe, the Suburban, etc. But apparently this is quite modified. At least that's what I'm getting from GM Authority. I think the range is going to be between 300 miles and 400 miles. That would be quite a feat if they can get up to 400 miles. And it's going to have the next generation DC fast charging, so it's expected that it might have up to 400 volt capacity and perhaps in a future update as much as 800 volts. In terms of power, the Hummer has either a 2 or a 3 motor setup, and you can get 625 horsepower, 800 horsepower, or 1,000 horsepower. I'm not quite sure what the options are going to be yet with Silverado, but I do expect it to be pretty quick. We know that the F-150 Lightning is pretty quick indeed, and I wouldn't be surprised if Chevy is going to essentially try to one-up them because they are releasing a little bit later. So the Hummer EV starts at about $80,000 and goes up to $110,000. I don't think we're going to see anything like that here. Again, with the F-150 Lightning, it starts at the $40,000 level roughly for the contract or the Pro version, and I expect we're going to see very competitive, very similar type pricing here as well. Probably going to be able to get it up to over $90,000 if you fully configure it. That's my speculation, my guess, but I think it's going to have to start at around 40 grand in order to compete with the F-150. Production is going to start at the GM Zero factory in Detroit in early 2023, but you'll be able to order one on Wednesday, so if you want one, definitely get in line quickly because I keep referring to the F-150, but that has a lot more orders than they ever anticipated. My name is Eric. Thanks for watching. See you soon. I'm going to have more stuff coming from CES.